So I've been doing something that I used to not ever enjoy, and I've actually been enjoying it.
Yeah!
But there's a twist.
Huh?
And it actually all started when I took my treasure hunter template down into a dungeon and just started picking locks. I kept 2 earth elementals on me and just drug monsters behind me as I went chest to chest. When there was a large amount of monsters on me, I'd drop a trap. And boom! This eliminated the boring part of stealthing around and added some flavor to it for me. Not only that, but it felt good getting both the experience and piles of gold on top of whatever chest I was picking from the monsters. A couple of things that I've noticed while I was lockpicking was a lot of pickers run past levels 1 and 2 and go straight for 3. I found a lot of chests unpicked on levels 1 and 2. Since they were lower level, my measly gold picks were picking them very fast. As I got to level 3, it was a lot slower of a pick. Sure, the loot was oftentimes better, but being there seems to be more competition in level 3, I was making plenty of experience and gold in levels 1 and 2, especially being Fortune tier 13. Yeah, that's right. My main focus was experience, so I most definitely use the Fortune aspect for armor, as it gives me the global experience bonus of 5% plus another 1.5% per tier. I know it's going to be ass, but I've been using Gadget Book, mostly just to level Gadget. Otherwise, I'd be using Fortune Book as well, or really just whatever aspect that I also want to level. Another trick is knowing where the lockpicking societies are. I'm not saying don't ever go to those dungeons, but just like with Monster Society, those are the ones where every picker gravitates towards, so it may feel like a waste of time there, and it oftentimes is. I'll quickly go over the template so you have an idea of it. First off, detect hidden at 120. This does multiple things. It boosts the damage of our traps most importantly. It also allows us to reveal other lockpickers that rely on being stealthy on chests rather than having the support of elementals like we do. Also, if you kill a Paragon, it will allow you to remove the trap from the Paragon chest, which is a nice bonus. The main thing though is, once again, boom! Tinkering at 120, this is another boom skill. First off, this allows us to craft anything from the tinkering menu, including lockpicks, trap removal tools, traps themselves, and a detonator, which we need to trap. I do want to preface by saying that tinkering is extremely expensive to level, so keep that in mind if you're going to go this route. Really, this is tons of fun, and it is paying off in the long run. Also, tinkering allows us to craft and use the trap kit. Also, it's a big factor of our trap damage. At minimum, 80 detect and 80 tinkering are required for the trap kit. Lockpicking at 100. Now we're going to need this to pick the dungeon and Paragon chests. 120 lockpicking isn't a bad call either, as the higher our lockpicking, the faster we can pick the chest. If anything, I'd pull 20 points from tracking if I decided to add to this and make it 120 lockpicking. Let's go Magery at 100. Obviously, we need this to summon elementals and use our Wizard Grimoire and Summoner's Totem. Tracking at 100. This increases the damage our spells do, but more importantly, it gives us a radar in case reds are in the vicinity. Since there's no eval or no resist or even any wrestling on this template, our defensive versus reds is only knowing they are coming and getting to the nearest moongate. Spirit Speak at 80. We need a minimum of 80 for the Summoner's Tome, and this will substantially beef up our summons, which is huge shield between us and the monsters. It also increases the damage that our summons do, so if a Paragon spawns, we can knock that down alongside with our traps and pushing off the remaining monsters that don't die to our initial trap when we lay it down if there is a swarm of monsters on us while we're picking the chest. And since our elementals are taking the damage while we pick and or place traps, we need the tome and the benefits it gives our summons. Meditation at 80. Being out of mana sucks, and being out of mana with no regain is worse. We also need 80 med or eval in order to use the Wizard Grimoire. And once again, that's just going to increase our damage to pick off the final monsters that we necessarily don't want to waste a full trap on. There are some pools that the elementals die a few times too, or we just run out of mana from finishing them off with the Wizard Grimoire spells. So the 80 med is very needed. Also, those super awesome mushrooms that we get that increase our mana, oh yeah, baby. Let's go camping at 20. If I could get more than 720 skill points, I'd put them in here. As stated earlier, levels 1 and 2 in dungeons seem to be far less picked. By the time I get about halfway to 3 in a lot of situations, I'm already full. This is with 430 stones available, 2 strong box upgrades, and 135 items available. Again, sometimes I ponder dropping 20 points in tracking for more in camping, or just drop tracking altogether for the 20 in lockpicking and 100 in camping. But then I would need another echo, and the whole point of this is using the same echo that I'm using for treasure mapping in a lockpicking situation in dungeons. Also, it's actually kind of fun getting a map in the dungeon run, and then doing the team map immediately after. It really gives that player lore of a true treasure hunter. As far as the Summoner's Tome goes, I only use 2 Earth Elementals and a Summoned Creature. Here's what I use. As far as the points picked, feel free to pause the video and copy, or let me know if there's any way to make them even more tanky. As far as the Mastery chain goes, chest success chance, progress is a no-brainer. The name of the lockpicking is go as fast as you can. Part of that is picking faster, so this helps. Special and rare loot chance. Since we are also killing monsters with traps, this is a godsend, giving us more chance for more loot. Feels good blowing up 3 to 5 monsters at once, and a team map drops on a monster we killed as we were opening a chest. Trap damage, so since this doubles as a team map template, you probably have or plan on getting trap damage links, and these help immensely, especially considering we are using fortune armor rather than gadget during this period. As far as tools go, I've been using gold, but I gotta be honest, earlier this guy was trying to get me killed by pulling monsters on me as I was picking. He too is a picker. Yeah, sometimes picking gets a little competitive, and that adds a lot of fun to it personally in my book. This jabroni was decked out with Averite lockpicks and trap tools. Let me tell you, I picked much faster with these. I mean much faster. Obviously, there's much more of a risk and cost with the Averite tools, but at the speed at which you pick, it may make it worth it. That, and I've only lost like 3 loadouts in the past week of picking and have made far more than the cost of what 3 Averite sets would cost. It's more than likely though my chest would be double the speed of which I'd be picking. So basically, as with everything, risk versus reward. And usually, fortune favors the bold. Let's talk about scripts. Personally, I don't use a lot of scripts for much of anything. It's not that I have anything against them, it's just I'm lazy in setting them up. And the less buttons I push, the less fun I have. I know there are scripts out there that you find unpicked chests on your screen, pick them when you're close, and even loot the chest for you. You can find them on Jason's website at uorazorscripts.com, and pretty much any other script you can think of as well. I want to make a point once again to say that there are many ways to be a dungeon picker. Check out Barely There's video over it, read Psychic Toaster's guide over it in my Discord, as well as DeKyver's older video he worked on with me long ago. Just keep in mind Remove Trap is no longer a skill, so you have extra points to play with as it actually just got enveloped into Detect Hidden. I've always been a naysayer at dungeon picking, but this particular playstyle, pulling the monsters onto the treasure chest and dropping traps when applicable, has been a lot of fun for me. I've always loved the AoE pulls, dropping traps. If you guys remember, when I first started streaming, I did a lot of Summoner Trapper and pulling entireties of dungeons and just blowing them all up at once. When trapping changed, it just kind of made it not the same as much anymore, as well as the monsters were a lot stronger too. But this kind of brings back that feel to it quite a bit. I like Razor Glass as it increases the damage done of your traps after you do the initial blow as a damage over time. So that's one that I would make sure that you get in your Trapper's Kit as well. Really, you can just follow exactly what we were doing back in our Team Mapper template for the Trap Kit. Other than that though, guys, shout out to the Patreons, the channel members, and you for liking this video as it helps for discoverability for myself, but more importantly, UO Outlands and all my fellow streamers out there. Speaking of streaming, make sure you come by the live streams most evenings at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Twitter, and Facebook. That's right, 5 different platforms to choose from all at once. Let me know how you've been lockpicking. I know there's quite a bit of you guys out there, but there's not as many as you would think. So get you guys some tools and get out there and pick some chests. Make tons of money, tons of experience. Guys, I'll catch you next time. Homestar Gaming out.